What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and coach, and I love sharing nuggets of wisdom about the stories that we tell each other, and more importantly, those stories that we tell ourselves. You can join me and my special guests as we share our personal stories of strength and triumph every week here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen online on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. And tune in every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. to get real stories and tips on how to turn your story and your life around and evolve with us as we unite humankind with universal love. Hello, listeners. So good to have you here with us today. I'm super duper excited about this, and I can't wait to introduce Karyn, who's waiting in the wings. Hello, Karyn.
Hello.
And we are going to have an incredible conversation. You guys know I love talking about the stories, right? Those stories, especially those quiet little stories in our heads, even the stories that we make up sometimes. And today we're talking about the concept of, sometimes we think we have a little story about something, a story about something that we think we know or we think we understand. We tend to do that a lot with people that we know, right? Oh, I know their story. I know what they're all about. Well, Karyn's going to introduce us to her new story and her new books. And we're going to open our minds because here's the thing. I want to share this quote. I love this Wayne Dyer quote. It is so true for our lives. When you change the way you look at something, the things you look at change, right? It's a real concept. It's how when we think we know something, or we think we understand this person, or we think we know their story, we might not. And when we can adopt that curiosity mindset and really pull our lens back and take a look at something that we think we understand or a story that we keep telling over and over and look at it with a new lens, from a new lens, you can understand so much about yourself and so much about the other people in your lives when you open your mindset up to that curious mindset, right? We're going to talk a lot about that today. I can't wait to share more about Karyn because she is incredible. And Karyn, do you mind if I read a little bit of your incredible bio here?
Go for it.
So Karyn is a distinguished graduate of the Goddard College with a bachelor's in health and nutrition in 1994 and her master's in writing and Ayurvedic medicine in 2011. She's done so many things, like really, this one little piece of paper is not enough to put all the incredible things that she's done here. And so she's attained diplomas from the Ayurvedic Institute and Universal Massage Therapeutics in New Mexico in 1998. Her journey continued under the guidance of Thomas Morrell and Robert Lee Camp, renowned authors of inspiring astrology and card books. This is where it gets super interesting. From 2002 to 2012, Karyn pioneered sacred stone massage therapy, teaching internationally and certifying over 3,000 sacred stone massage therapists, approved by the NCBTMB, RIOPC, and NAMA. She's featured on the cover of industry magazines and interviewed on Fox TV. In 2008, Karyn spent 2 years at the master's level Maharishi University studying Vedic Science. She was initiated as a Sidha in the Transcendental Meditation lineage while also studying Vedic astrology with David Hawthorne. Wow. Karyn deepened her studies in Vedic astrology and Arsha Vidya Ashram in PA over the next decade. In 2012, she founded Rhode Island's first Yoga Alliance approved teacher training program and private state approved proprietary Ayurvedic Massage Therapy School. And let me tell you, I knew Karyn back when she was running that school. Unbelievable. You talk to anybody who attended your school, because my massage therapist has and knows you. And people can just not say enough, like just raving fans. She creates raving fans. She's brilliant. And now you're kind of stepping into something new. So um, she immersed herself in the science of the stars for so long. Karyn's intuition heightened, and she began channeling primordial star code formulas. She started teaching Vedic astrology and the 52 star code system and continues writing books, counseling, and teaching. She plans to launch the Star Code School online by the end of 2024. Unbelievable, Karyn. Welcome to Look for the Good.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm really excited to talk about this with you. I have so much to share. I don't even know where to begin. So I'll let you like segue into whatever part of it lights you up.
Well, it all lights me up, and you are bursting with this beautiful, beautiful energy. And you and I just have sort of this kinship that we found when we started really digging in and getting to know each other after working together at Spirit of Change magazine. And I've watched your career develop, and like I said, super fans. Anybody that you mention her name to, people will rave. And so now you've taken it, I feel like, to this deeper, deeper step where you've just published 5 variations of your book, the 52 Star Codes. And they're so powerful. It's like such incredible information, and it so rings true. And I'm going to bring it back to so people can just understand, from a very elementary level. Because the type of work that you do and the type of readings that you do are based on a true deck of cards. And people might think that they know that deck of cards, but I'm here to tell you, when you look at through the lens of the 52 star codes, you really don't understand the depth of creation that is contained in these cards. Tell us how that's possible. Tell us a little bit so that listeners can understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, happy to do that. First off, I don't know if I have peanut butter in my ears or if my volume is a little off. I'm struggling to hear you, but
Okay.
it's compelling in a way because that keeps me glued to you and having to do some mouth reading, which that's okay if for some reason we can't make it louder. I can still hear you, but I'm
Okay.
just telling you it's a whisper.
Is it clear
Anyway,
now? Is that better for you?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
that's better.
Okay.
Thank you. So basically, you asked me, how is the deck of cards so revelational when it appears to be such a simple thing that we play with, to have some fun and, like go fish, war, bridge, poker. These were games actually that were designed to fool the kings and queens and the, we'll call them the royalty, whoever they were, that were outlawing these cards. When they found out the power of the cards, they were threatened. So in order to keep the cards alive, they had to invent something that would convince the powers that be that were threatened by this, that it was just a simple game and it meant no harm. So why not play, crazy eights or go fish or whatever, So this was a facade just so that we could keep the deck alive. So it's been hiding in plain sight for all this time under the guise of a game. So isn't that interesting? Because life really is a game, it's all.
It so is. I love that. It's hiding in plain sight, right?
Hiding in plain sight.
I love that. Why and how is it so significant, especially with the numbers correlating to a lot of numbers that we're very familiar with in our lives?
Well, that's a very good question. This is really based on numerology and cosmology, the planets, the stars, even archetypes. Like Carl Jung has a place here where he talks about archetypal, and even Carolyn Myss, archetypal, what do you call, their signs that we're working through, their archetypal faces that play out in our daily life. These queens, kings, and jacks literally are all around us, embodied by people. And it's like a stage, and we're playing this game of life on a stage, and we are the Steven Spielberg of our own life, right? And
Yeah.
we're hiring out these people to play the roles, and we assign them the script, and then we sit in the audience. Hopefully we can become the witness every now and then and not get sucked into the maya of all of it, and remember that it's a game and not get too trapped into the humdrum of the whole thing, and back and forth witness to being fully immersed, because we have every right to be immersed in our game. But now when we're in the game and you have awareness suddenly that it is a game and that it was fully played and staged out, almost like destiny, and that these people start to become recognizable. Like you can see the queens. I'm starting to be able to spot the jacks. The kings are pretty easy to find as well once you start understanding the attributes of the kings, and they're all around you. And then the numbers are 52. If you think about it, we have 52 weeks in a year, and there are 52 cards in the deck, and there are 13 suits. And if you add 1 + 3, we get 4 seasons, right? And there are 4 suits. And tarot was it. So they played the game of cards, bridge, fish, go whatever, call it what you want, poker. And then tarot came, and tarot, they disguised it even better by adding the major arcana, so that they wouldn't even think for a second that there were 52 cards. This can't be what we outlawed. This is something different. And they made art out of it. They made beautiful colors and scenery, and it became a thing. And another distraction from the original deck of cards. So my intuition on this, and what I've been hearing from downloads, it's almost like they're pressing the knowledge in to my head. I can't explain it any other way, because I don't hear voices or anything. I just get incredible insights every now and then when I know it's not coming from me, because I don't even have that vocabulary. So what they're saying is, they gave this deck to us, the first humans, so that we could have the key to life. If we could learn how to decode, how to crack the code, how to crack these codes. If we can actually live our life in a more informed way, so we can make decisions based on the rhythms of nature, stay in the flow, and not get blindsided. And when we see a storm coming, we can have an umbrella, because we can spot these storms. They're easily traceable. And if you understand to read this language, and then once we understand who we are, how we fit into the system, how we fit into the flow and the rhythm, and why we chose our family, they're our most important people. And they are the ones that have our stress code frequencies and bless code frequencies. They're embodied by our own nuclear family, our immediate family. And yes, that's why Christmas can be really stressful, because we're surrounded by our stress cards.
Stress code.
Yes, it's probably at least 2 people sitting at your table that embody your stress card, and you may even be the stress card to your own children. I am to my daughter, and it was really devastating to find that out, but I'm working through it, because all mothers want to be the angel or the savior,
bomb,
the hero,
right?
for their
Yes.
children.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
we
soothing
don't want.
bomb, not the aggravator.
Right, yes, we don't want that. It's
Not at all.
not part of estrogen. How did that
Right.
happen? Yeah, so I realized doing the math why my daughter, just really gravitated to her daddy, and it wasn't, I couldn't take it personally anymore. She perceived me as her stress card, even though I didn't do anything intentional. It was just my presence for her. But, her best friends loved me. I wasn't their stress card.
Exactly. That's not the way it always goes.
Yes, it's just that way.
But
And
it takes a village.
I was able to get out of the shame and the blame and forgive my own self and forgive her, because now we're both aware of the dynamic, and we can work through it a little more easily now that our eyes are opened to the math behind it. And my dad's my stress card too. So it's just guaranteed. When I do this, I pull up the whole family when I give a reading, and I can see the children and the mothers and grandmothers and fathers, and I can point out the stress cards and the bless cards and the shadow cards. Those are really important too. So once we understand how we fit into our family and into society, even with our partner, and who is our partner, and why did we meet all these other partners, and what are our themes and patterns, then we can start having a little bit more information about how to live and how not to hold people accountable for your own stuff. So how to become your own, accountable for your own stuff, and changing your own story, and realizing that it's all a story, because these cards have a story, each of them. And it goes back, even to Vedic astrology, where I blend that into the card system, and I tell people the lunar star that they're from. And any Vedic astrologer can do that, because we use the lunar mansions, which we also call lunar stars, and the Sanskrit word is nakshatra. So once you find out which is your lunar star story of the 27 possible lunar stars, then you start to understand the lunar stars better, because they're based on parables. And these stories play out in our lives, different genders, different roles, different, some of the moving parts can be different, but the feeling level is the same. So we start recognizing clients, friends, and family by understanding their story, and then relating them to the lunar star. And then you can relate them to a card, because each card has some sort of a lunar star connection and has a story. And then you start to realize, okay, they gave us this deck on purpose, because we agreed to be dumbed down, for our pineal gland to be, filmed over, glazed over, so that we couldn't fully remember our divinity, and that we came here to remember. And in that remembering, this is all part of cracking the code. And, we're here to just remember, really, that we are amazing, and that we can change our story at any time. But first, know who you are, right? Self-discovery, and figure it all out. Where did your old stories come from? Analyze that. Look at yourself and how you fit, and the people that you chose to learn life about. And then you can change your story if you want to go further. And the thing about the system, which is so profound, is that it never limits you, because we are unlimited beings. We are multidimensional. We're made in the likeness of God. So there is no limit to any of us. So you're not just born on one day and that's your card, go home.
That would be so boring. Could you imagine?
That would be,
Here's your card. See you later.
Yes. It's actually, you get your card, and then you get to see where you're evolving to, because 8 cards away, when you understand how to count on the Earth template, you get to move into your higher octave. So yes, and then the higher octave, you have to get there. Unfortunately, on this planet, the only way we evolve is through adversity, because the light comes through the wound, right? So in order to get 8 away, it usually is precipitated by a major event, like a divorce or a death or a loss of a job, any sort of a death-like situation. Let's just say that, the loss of a child, or whatever it is, a falling out with someone. Yeah, you have to rebirth. And in order to do that, you rebirth, and you either go sour and bitter, stay where you are, or you go up 8 away, just like the keys on a piano. It's an
All I
octave.
keep thinking of, you're talking my language, lady. I want to
Yes.
break out into a song. Yes, I love that. But you have to go through, it's like the concept of contrast, right? If we
Yeah.
didn't have contrast on this earth, well, we wouldn't know what we do want. If everything was all happy and good, we didn't have a variety, a rainbow of emotions, we wouldn't understand what it was like to be happy. I think you're saying the same thing, where we don't understand. We have to evolve past those things that happened to us that we wish didn't happen. And we all have them. And then look for, the other side of that. What's on the other side of that? For me, it was, journaling about all the tragedies of my life, and that's where my album came from, right? And then from that came the other pieces of my life, and that's where my book came from, right? So we can all tell that story.
Yes. Yeah, and everyone will evolve in their own way, however it is, that works for them to get to where they are. So where they want to be. And some people don't want to evolve, and I have to honor that. And I can kind of recognize that when I meet that person. They're just kind of treading water, and we all have a right to do that. And that's what they wrote for. Okay. And I have no judgment on it, but then I can tell that there are people that are part of my clientele that are true seekers, seekers of the truth, and they are in it for the long run. They want evolution. They want to be their highest version of who they are. They're willing to change their story, and they want to know what to work with. So I tell them, well, this is where you go once you get past this sort of death-like experience in your life, where you will finally be rebirthed into this, and this is your new octave. And then even from there, you can go 8 away again and again, and it's unending. So you can keep evolving and evolving. And this system is timeless. So I can even track people who've passed on, because this system goes outside of time, which is really cool.
So cool. It goes outside of time. Okay, that is so cool. So like when you're setting up to read for somebody, I know that when you've done this before in the past, you have all of it, like you just said, all of my family members, all of the people who are here, who aren't here, who passed, this one and that one. And you can kind of take a collective look of like, okay, what's everybody's role here? And what's happening with them now as they've evolved into their even higher octave, right? When they go back to their source. And that's the
Yeah.
magic, right?
Yes, and looking at the family dynamics was one of my most cathartic moments in my experience with the 52 star code system. I realized that my entire family was working in the red 4 stargate, and the stargates are new. I don't know anyone that has discovered them. I'd like to meet someone who has, but maybe it's yet to be discovered. I don't know. And I was the first. Who knows? Maybe. But I still feel like there's nothing new under the sun, and somebody had to have figured this out. But I don't know. I haven't met them yet. So I wrote about it in my book. I haven't read it anywhere. It just came. And it's 18 of these stargates, and they're portals, really. Part of the stargate is outside of time, the other part is here. So that means we're learning lessons from another time space, because we're not just incarnated in one lifetime. Some of us actually have parallel lifetimes going on right here on planet Earth. Some of us are living parallel lifetimes, other planets. Some of us are just living one lifetime, but we have many other lifetimes that we pull from, that we bring into this lifetime. And I can tell you some of the gifts that you do bring in by looking at your imprint card based on a formula that's based on your birthday, the imprints of other lives. And I notice I don't say past, because when we cross over, there's no time. So there's nothing in the past or future when you get there anyways. So
Right.
it's all happening at once over there. And we bring in specifically gifts from other lifetimes that we earned. And we also bring in unresolved emotions that we have to work through with other people. We find soul contracts in this system. It's really clear when I find contracts between people. Usually it's involving, some sort of forgiveness, or if it's a really deep contract, it will be illogical. Like the fighting it will appear to be silly, and no one's understanding one another, and they're just talking over each other, and it's just a bunch of blah 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 blah, and nobody's making sense, and you're not even really speaking the same language. So when that happens, we know that they're in different densities, and that's because a stargate is part of the contract. And my whole family, for example, the red 4 stargate, the 4 theme is in every family member. Every family member, my sisters, my mother, my brother, my father, and now my daughter is my black 6 stargate partner, and you are too.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's interesting though, this red 4 stargate theme means we all did this same thing in another lifetime. And the ruler of the red stargate is the 8 of diamonds, which is the card of power. So we were learning about self-esteem, all of us, how to remember that we are powerful, and how to remember that we're powerful is often by disempowering ourselves and agreeing to do that with one another, so that we could have the opportunity to rise up and go, oh my God, I am, just like the good witch Glinda said, we've had the power all along.
You're speaking my language there. Okay, we're gonna break really quick. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna talk about Glinda in one quick right back with Karyn. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Live for the Good. We are having this just enthralling conversation with Karyn. And we started talking about Glinda. And the funny thing is, you guys know my 5-step program, my 5 steps to, telling new stories, all based on the story acronym, STORY. And Karyn, without even knowing it, just described my why, which is the U in my whole formula, because you forgot, just like Linda said, you had the power all along, but we forgot and we give it away. Why? Because especially as women, I feel like we're programmed since we're really little to give that power away. Shh, sit still, don't move, cross your legs, be a nice girl. Don't say anything unless it's really important. Like, we're told to just be quiet and forget about our power. And I even wrote a song, it's called Take It Back. And what I'm talking about is taking that power back. Talk to us a little bit about that, Karyn. How does that work in this Stargate formula? And how do we celebrate? How do we get that power away? If we came here deciding that we're going to give it away, how do we take it back?
Well, first we have to lose something to even recognize that we've earned it back, right? So there's going to be a theme where the family members that share the Red 4 Stargate will go through sort of dark night of the soul where they lose themselves, and there's going to be anger, there's going to be all kinds of emotions, incoherent emotions, because in that chaos we are forced to rise up. That's a choice, or kibosh and go bitter. So there, no judgment on which way you go, but those people who are here who just don't give up, and I'm one of them. But some days, don't trust me, I just want to give up some days, but something inside me, I don't know what that is. It just keeps pushing me. So, and you too, we just don't. And when you don't give up and you're given these lemons, the only thing people like us do is make lemonade. So we keep drinking the lemonade, remembering, oh my gosh, I have this power. It's my power, and rightfully so. This is who I am. I didn't lose myself. In that chaos, I was able to determine who are my people, who were not my people, where do I fit, and what do I want for my life, and how do I want to move forward in my newfound power. And it might be a test, really. Your whole life you might go in and out of it, because if you're still doing Christmas with family members at age 60 something, the theme will still go on. Although usually, people die off when we get older, and maybe those stress card people go, and maybe it gets easier, maybe it gets harder. I don't know, but the themes can change a little. But the main theme for my family was the Red 4 Stargate. So I also had another Stargate that I was born with. So I was born as a 4 of Hearts, just like you. And so you're part of the Red 4 Stargate, which I'm not surprised you brought up the principle of power, self-empowerment, and how we have been programmed to lose our power, and how we're here as Red 4s to help people, the world, remember their power. It's one of our themes, you and me, born on these there's only 3 days in the calendar year that give us 4 of Hearts, and you were born on one, I was born on the other, and the other is Halloween, actually. So
wait, tell us your date again, just so people can know what those 3 days are.
11/29, that's mine, and yours is
12/27.
12/27, and then October 31st. Those are the 4 of Hearts Stargates, or Stargate. I'll just call them 4 of Hearts. They're part of the Stargate, the Red 4 Stargate. Stargates are two cards, and they're kind of wobbly, these Stargates. They can open north and they can open south, depending on the planet that the Stargate's passing through. So some planets are malefic and some planets are benefic. So hopefully your Stargates open north and you receive bliss and magic from these Stargates, because that's what comes from outside of time. And the people who are full-blown walking Stargates, I digress for a minute, just for example, there are some people who aren't just part of a Stargate like you and me. You're part of the Red 4 Stargate, just like me, and the Black 6 Stargate, just like me. Believe it or not, I'm the Black 6 of Clubs, you're the Black 6 of Spades, and we're Stargate partners. When we meet, we ignite the Stargate, and you're the 4 of Hearts and I'm the 4 of Hearts. We're not necessarily Stargate partners, but we're from the same Stargate. Our partner would be the 4 of Diamonds. When you meet a 4 of Diamonds, you form the Stargate with that person, and it can open north and you can have a beautiful friendship, unbelievable, like you just love this person, they could do no wrong. And it's enduring, or it could fall south, where these
Oh.
people, you just don't know what to do with them.
Really? That's so
Oh,
interesting.
yes.
Wow. You
Yes,
can
that
be from the same stargate, but they can be sort of your stressor, right? Or just
yes,
you're
yes.
almost repulsed, like a opposite of the magnet attracting.
Exactly. That's why they're wobbly here. It's hard to tell. Is it north? Is it going to be south? You look at them, you're a four of diamonds. Whoa, wait a minute. It could go really, really good, or it could go really, really bad. So you kind of get to know and you feel it out. Don't run away from them, but check that out. See what do you feel with that person? My sister is my Stargate partner. We had a really hard Stargate. We just kept going south, 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 south. And then I met my other four diamond Stargate partner in college, and we're best friends. We talk on the phone every other day. So ours went
Wow.
north. Our Stargate opened north. Yeah. So I'm trying to crack the code on that. I'm doing pretty good. Now here's something I'm trying to crack the code on.
Yeah.
And I digress, and we'll come back to
That's okay.
the mother wound, which I think is very pertinent to women and self-esteem. About,
Yeah.
I forget how many I counted. It's in my book. I think there were something in the 20s, 21, 22 mother wound cards that were really obvious. Now there are hidden mother wound cards too that it was too complicated to put in the book. There are different ways to look at things, but I put the most obvious ones in the book. But the mother wound is the root of all evil, let's just say. The demise of women and the disrespect for the matriarch is the root cause of why we're in this time space continuum learning these particular lessons. And to respect the mother, respect your women in your life and the divine mother and the earth mother. When we start doing that and forgiving our own mother and forgiving yourself as a mother, then the true healing begins. Once you recognize that you came in with that mother wound, you can start recognizing the patterns. And I put some of the patterns in the book, what to look for. Obviously, you're going to have some tension with your own mother. There'll be pinches. You may have had abandonment issues or separations with her. Emotionally, she might not have been present. You may have had rape, incest, all of the physical, obvious, blatant disrespect to women, any sort of abuse. Then you're carrying the mother wound. And if you're a man, and you also may be carrying the mother wound. We have a father wound too, but I didn't get so much into the father wound in my book, but I want to in my next book, because that's really important too. But the mother wound is, to me, in this time, and we're moving into a new yuga, which yuga is Sanskrit for another age. It's called the Sat Yuga, that we're moving into, Sat meaning truth. And we're currently leaving the Kali Yuga, which we're in right now, Kali meaning dark.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so we're in the middle of this, split between the Kali Yuga and the Sat Yuga, and the Kali Yuga earth template has at the very bottom of the template the Four of Hearts, which represents family and marriage. That's you and me.
That's us.
And then in the other corner, directly across, is the Queen of Hearts. Now, if we put that Da Vinci Code guy, what's he called? The guy that with the
Yeah.
arms out,
Yes.
perfect, symmetrical, geometrically sacred man. There's a name for him, and I'm losing it, whatever his name is.
Okay.
If he's out there, his two arms go to the tippity top corners, and his 2 feet step on, right foot on the, if I don't get dyslexic, well, I guess it doesn't matter right or left. Both feet are stepping on the mother, the earth mother, and the family and marriage card. So that is the demise of the Kali Yuga, whatever you step on. We
Right.
need those feet to get off the mother
cards.
wound.
Yes, get off it.
So I found a new earth template when we move into the Sat Yuga, and there is no more stepping on the earth mother. Mother wounds are healed. There's respect for the great mother, the divine mother in the next yuga. So we're learning as we go into that next cycle how what did we do? And we're becoming accountable. Eyes are opening to how do we respect, all this human trafficking, all the things that they're doing to children and to, it's a nightmare out there with so much sex slavery. And this is all based on the demise of the mother and the great feminine principle. And this book that I wrote about talks a lot about how to heal the mother wound, starting with your own self, how to heal your own mother wound first before you start going collective. So I had to forgive my own mother. I had a pretty deep mother wound. So the 9 of clubs is the one with the deepest mother wound, I said. But when you turn the 9 of clubs upside down, it's a 6 of clubs. And that's my card. Yes, I had 4 of hearts as my external birth card, and my inner self, my I call it the internal card, is the 6 of clubs, which is the upside down 9 of clubs, which is even worse than the 9 of clubs. It's just, when something is really, really exaggerated bad, just turn it upside down, it's worse. So with you have the 4 of hearts external, but the 6 of spades is your internal and not so bad mother wound, but because it is you're part of the mother wound portal. So that stargate. So you have a foot in that door, and I'm your stargate partner, and stargate people ignite each other off and on, and we ignite each other more at eclipses, by the way. So when you meet your stargate partner, know that it could be tricky, even treacherous, to be together or think of each other or some sort of collaboration, physical or not, during eclipses, real eclipses, because that's when stargates become activated most, and you can have a falling out, or you can have an amazing epiphany with that person and wonderful things if it opens north. So I've been having some trouble with my own daughter stargates. Last eclipse, the April 8th eclipse, holy cow, we had a stargate, our stargates ignited and fell south.
Wow, that
so
was a big one,
yes, but you and I have stargate ignition.
Tomato, tomato.
Yes, and we can open up or down, but I'd probably be careful with you and I on an eclipse.
Yeah, exactly. And so I want to talk to them. We're going to come back in one quick second, but before we go, let's plant the seed. Let's talk to them about how they can figure out what they are, right? Let's talk to them about, because they're like,
So
wait, I
to
want to know
find
where I
out,
am. So yeah, let's
yes,
let them stay for a second so they don't go anywhere and come right back.
okay,
Karen's going to answer that
yes,
question.
very good question, because you can't really do anything unless you know what's your birth card, what's your
Exactly.
external card, what's your
Exactly.
internal. You can
Yeah.
go to my books say it in the back. If you get my stellar, there's 5 books. It was supposed to be one big fat book, but it was so fat that it wasn't going to fit.
The 5. I like the
Yeah,
5.
had to do 5. And
I like
the
the 5.
guidebook, the stellar guidebook, is the main book that will help people interpret the 4 suits, the hearts,
that's one
clubs,
easy.
diamonds, spades.
Yep.
So go to the back of the stellar guidebook and you'll see a table with all the birthdays, and you'll get your internal, your external, and then go to those cards, and within your internal card chapter, that whole chapter devoted just to you, you can find your imprint card, your healing code, your sick code, which really I changed it to the stress code. It was originally the sick code because there are some people that really make you sick when you're in their presence. It's good to know who they are. You don't want to be hanging with them if you're, yes, if you're going to be,
know who that is, the COVID card. So
you can
listen,
also do a quick one on my website, but that website widget, if you go to my website, you can put your birthday into the widget for free, but you'll only get your your external on that widget. I wish that widget had the external. I bought that widget from my original teacher. So someday I'll come up with my own widget that you can just click in and you can get both cards. But for now, you can get your external there.
All right, hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back with Karyn. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here with Karyn Chabot Martino, and this is the most incredible conversation. Like, there is so much information she has to share. I told you she was going to be a wealth of information. And we talked about the mother wound. It's those relationships, right? And I understand why that is the biggest wound for the world right now. Let's talk a little bit more about all the other relationships, because like I said in the beginning, you set up all that. You have to know everybody's whole situation, the whole circle of people around you, to really understand, because then those are the people who are reflecting different things off of us all the time, right? How do we understand more about ourselves by understanding through the star codes what those relationships are like?
Oh, that's a really good question. So basically, life is about relationships and your relationship to yourself. So how we choose our relationships is based on frequency and math and how do I say
Attraction.
this? Yeah, yes. I mean, of course, we can go deeper and we're attracted to certain people, and that's given, and everybody knows that skin chemistry is hard to find. If we could bottle it, somebody'd be a millionaire, right?
Skin chemistry. I want to write a song called Skin Chemistry. Skin Chemistry.
Yes. And if that's important to know, that you get that skin chemistry with somebody, that you have something to learn with that person, because they are hand in hand. When the skin chemistry comes in, the fire is there, and there's a sizzle between you and that person,
Yeah.
then there is a mathematical, I call it a magnetic draw to that person. And that means you have some work to do, unfortunately. Sorry to rain on your parade. You can have some fun, and you can have, it's like a carrot that
Right.
lures you in, or like it's that chocolate you just want to bite into. So you cannot, it's almost impossible in some ways to ignore someone who attracts you to that level. That's when you
Yeah.
know that the attraction, to the degree of the attraction, is going to be to the degree that you will learn a lesson. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Ouchie.
yes, so these people, we'll talk about these people first, and they usually come in with lessons where you create mathematically together a separate entity. We all do, but those particular ones that are so sizzle, I'll call it, so passionate, that it often, when you add the star codes up of each person, you create a composite, which is like a portal that is over both of their heads, that one portal that is like a whole separate third person following them around, that
Ooh.
is flavoring their relationship. It paints the picture for why they met. It's a portal where that frequency is like a snowflake. That particular portal has a mathematical code to it, and those things that match that code will come through, will fit perfectly into the portal that you create, this composite portal. And so if you make a kind of a gnarly composite, you're going to have gnarly things coming through the portal affecting you both. And when we have that much sizzle, it can often be, I call the 9-6 or the black hole or the blue hole, or where these portals, they are also way outside of time, quite like stargates, and they're like wormholes, and things can start to happen that seem inconceivable or illogical. Or why did he do that? Why do I feel this way? What happened? I'm so confused, but I really like this guy. Oh my God. You know what I mean? That overtaken, you're overwhelmed by the passion, that you're blindsided, like love is blind. And then you get into this black hole thing where in some cases it's really hard, like a riptide, to get out. And in a riptide, you can't really swim north or south. It's only sideways. And nobody is used to going sideways in relationships. And some relationships just do it anyways. And they stay together and they just sideways around and they never get anywhere. And then they're in a toxic relationship now. And we look at it that way. Now, there are other relationships that aren't like that, where you can still have the sizzle, you can still have the passion, but it's not so much that it takes you out of your skin, where you lose yourself. You don't fall in love with these people. You literally can stay in your body, in your center, recognize them in a more healthy way, with really nice boundaries, and you can create a really nice composite with that person. I say the best one that I've found is the Jack of Hearts, star code 11. When somebody makes a Jack of Hearts with another person, that relationship has tenacity, it has sweetness, and it even has the Christ energy. because the Jack of Hearts as a representation of the Christ consciousness or the Christ energy, the sacrificial lamb even. These two people are blessed, and they usually just think of each other as soulmates. And it's not like, they're not cellmates. Like when you meet somebody who you make a 9-6 with, the black hole where they're in time. Yeah.
That's your next book title, a cellmate or soulmate?
It's a great title. Yeah, I should actually.
Right? Because that tells so much, right? Like you can have, but if you have a Jack of another kind, right, then that cannot be good for you. But it's funny because everything you just said reminded me of this coach I heard one time say, because people are always looking for that chemistry. Oh, I don't feel the chemistry. And she would say, if you feel the chemistry, you should run. That's what everybody do is run.
I can't say that to the young 20-year-olds that haven't really, we're here to ride the zipper sometimes, and sometimes we're here to ride the merry-go-round. In the beginning of our lives, sometimes we just ride the zipper when it comes to, and you just follow the skin chemistry and you fall flat on your face, but that's what zippers do in the carnival, and then there comes a time in our life where we're just done with the zipper. We get it. We start recognizing that the person that you feel madly in love with, note I say madly in love with, is not always, you don't want to be mad, but madly in love is, they write songs about this because it's delusional. And this isn't something that's going to last or bring you peace of mind. And it's not the kind of relationship that you'd want to be in forever.
Yeah, it's not a life partner, right? It's just maybe a love partner temporarily.
Yeah, it's a fun ride,
a fun ride.
And we all deserve some fun rides, and I can, we want to experience the fullness of life. At least I do. And I rode the zipper. I'm sure you did too.
Oh yeah. We all, that's another great title, riding the zipper.
Yeah, that's another great title. You're full of good titles. I'm interested in the merry-go-round right now. Just take me on the merry-go-round, please. I'm just catching my breath.
I like the merry-go-round. It's not too fast. I'm not going to get too dizzy. It's not the Ferris wheel. We're up at the top. It's a little sketchy.
Right?
It's merry-go-round. You know what to expect. And it's got good music playing and the horses are nice.
Yeah, you still get to go up and down on the horses and you still get to move around and round, but there's no, the zipper is just either vomit or you're in ecstasy, which one, I don't know. And I got to experience that, and it's all about timing. I'm 61 this year. I had a good go of the zipper probably in my 20s, 30s, and into my 40s. And I'm starting to now enjoy the other rides a little more.
Bring it down to earth. We don't need to be way up there on that, Ferris wheel or that roller coaster ride. So I love that. What a beautiful analogy. And so your next book is all about relationships, right? It's
relationships, how to choose. Yeah, how to be wise about your decisions, because, for example, I have someone very dear to me who is in a 20-year relationship, and they form a composite that is his stress card, not so much hers. She's got her troubles in the relationship. I can see some of the map that might pinch her, but he's got the biggest pinch of all. And I said stress was originally, I called the sick card and changed it to stress card. She makes him sick, and it makes me worried for his health. So he's still in it. He's, for whatever reason, he still have more things to learn with her, but you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to stay in a relationship where it makes you sick? Life already makes us pretty sick. I mean, they've got chemtrails and they're poisoning our food. It's hard to find truly organic. It's hard to stay healthy in a world where being targeted, there's so much disease out there, and you want to find a relationship, at least I do, that would help me stay healthy. That would, be conducive to health and reduce my stress. I don't want to choose to be in a relationship that would cause more sickness and stress. So my mother and father, well, my father's my stress card, right? And they're divorced years ago, but she's got a wonderful husband. They make the Jack of Hearts composite. They love each other. They are perfect for one another. Of course, she's got the Four of Hearts. stargate. She's my, like you and me, she's a 4, she's a
Ooh.
Jack and a 4,
Mhm.
and he's a king and a 4 of hearts. So like I said, the theme runs not just in the biological family, but she even found someone to continue on the theme in the red 4
So
stargate.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So cool.
And they're composite, the Jack of Hearts, but they're both each other's blessed card. I mean, what's the chance that that would happen?
Right?
So you get one blessed card. One. Well, really, we get one primary, I should say. I've just discovered 4 more formulas, and
Ooh.
so we have actually more than one blessed card, but the main primary one, they're each other. And
That's
I
beautiful.
I can tell you that they really are 2 peas in a pod. So it's very inspirational.
Well, I love that. People are going to love this formula. Tell them, where can they find your book? I know you're on, you're on Amazon, and a lot of times that link is too long for us to say, but
Yeah.
give them the exact title so they can look it up, and
The
I'll put it in the show notes.
the title of the book is The Secret 52 Star Codes of Creation.
There you go.
And there's a stellar guidebook that is the main book that will help you interpret. It guides you. And then the other books are simple. It's hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades.
So once you know what you are, you can go in the back of the guidebook, figure out what you are, what your birthday is, and then go and get your associated card. But I can't wait to add in the relationship, because that it just goes deeper on such a really, really cool level, where we can start to understand and see our life from a different perspective, right? Taking that lens and pulling it back and seeing the purpose and the reason for all these things that we've been through. And one of the things that I believe in as a mindset strategist is that when you can assign higher meaning to something, to your pain, then the
Yes.
pain dissolves. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're assigning a higher meaning to why these people come into our lives and maybe out of our lives. And that helps dissolve our pain and resolve our life in a way that we wouldn't normally have.
I so agree with that. One of my greatest teachers, Dr. Vasant Lad, my Ayurvedic teacher, the medical doctor, he was, chief surgeon in Pune Hospital, and he's a legend. And he said that first off, he would ask you, how is your relationship? That would be his first question. And it would be with yourself or with someone else. He didn't care. He wanted to talk about relationship first off. And then the
Yeah.
second thing he said was, gosh, now I'm forgetting what he just said. He said so many pearls of wisdom. I just lost that one. What did you just say?
I said, I was saying how when you can assign a higher meaning to your pain,
Oh, yes.
it
Yeah. So
resolves it.
thank you. I just had to
You just
refresh
went
me.
into him for a second, channeling
I
him.
lost him for a minute. He's so wise, and all of his quotes come running back. One of his was that through understanding we can do everything. It is the first step to forgiveness. That if you ponder that, because it's really hard to forgive someone until you understand them. If it's
Absolutely.
chaotic, some chaotic mess you cannot wrap your head around, less likely you can truly forgive them. You can try, but it's harder. But once you understand, this is a word that is so powerful, and its meaning is taken for granted. It made me really sit back and to understand means you've digested it, you've structured it, you've filed it. It's somewhere, it's got a place. And then you can actually forgive that thing. So understanding yourself, understanding your relationship with yourself and with someone else is not to be underestimated. It's so powerful. And that book I'm writing is about 70% done on relationships. And
I
that
love
really
that.
will shine the light on a lot of, people who feel stuck and they don't know why they can't get out of a relationship. And I can help them understand why mathematically there are some composites that are so sticky, it's like glue.
So sticky. It's like super glue in some cases, right? We all know those people. And I love that, because when we truly understand where somebody comes from, we can understand so much more. And I think even before that, it's getting that curiosity mindset, even when you don't really appreciate, or you're not forgiving what they did, but really trying to get curious, like you said, to understand who they are. And I love that you simplify that for people. So everybody, go check out Karyn's book. This has been the most enlightening conversation. I know we could talk for another 2 hours here, and everybody else would probably still listen, but it's been a joy having you on the show, Karyn.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you. I just love your gig and all that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Right back at you, Sister Four Hearts. And You know, if you get the book, when you get the book, share with us in the notes, share with me on Facebook, or you can do my contact form on my website at karyrowan.com. What you are, what is your card? We want to hear all about it, and any profound movement you have. So leave Karyn a review as well after you go get her book. And thank you again, everybody, for listening in. And remember, if you want to get insightful pieces of information about Karyn and my conversation behind the scenes, what it's like before we start, all the deep dirt on the insider information, sign up for my mailing list at karyrowan.com/podcast and get on that mailing list. And remember, everyone, it is never too late to live your best story. Be well.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Karyn Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources or to find out about how you can work with Karyn directly, visit karyrowan.com for more details.